Well, we've been hit by the strongest winds and the heaviest rain that we've had so far, really. We've seen these bands of weather coming through throughout the day, and they've just been intensifying really every single time. And now we're pretty much under constant wind and rain just slamming into the windows. I'm looking out of the windows right now, and I can see palm trees just completely leaning over in the wind. The winds are that strong. And we've also had at the hotel that we're based at, the part of the roof of the lobby area has actually collapsed due to the strength of those winds down onto a man who was trying to, he was inside his car at the time. He was trying to move the car away from some flooding that's going on in the parking area. The man, we understand, is unscathed from the incident. So, but we have seen really just up close and personal sort of an insight into just how powerful this storm is, even though we're on the sort of east coast of Florida and not in the strongest winds and the worst conditions.
That's unbelievable, Giles. What was the reaction to guests at the hotel when that happened? Well, word spread fairly slowly because obviously people are hunkering down in their rooms. They're not walking around the lobby or going down to the swimming pool. This is a sort of a holiday resort, really. But people have come here to use it as a sort of a hurricane shelter instead. Lots of people who live here in Fort Lauderdale, a bit closer to the sea, some of them right down to the beach. We were talking to one man who left his family, or took his family rather, left his family home behind on the beach here in Fort Lauderdale and brought them to this hotel because he believed this would be a much safer place for them to wait out the storm. So certainly some of the residents of the hotel that we've been speaking to are pretty shocked to see up close and personal just how powerful this storm is. Absolutely. Well, Giles, we're looking at live pictures out of Naples, Florida. That's one of the areas that's going to get hit the hardest by this storm. Do you guys have power where you're at in Fort Lauderdale to the east? And what's the situation statewide with regard to power outages? Well, we haven't had power for quite some time now. It started going out in the early hours of the morning local time. It was sort of coming in and out for a while, and then it just completely disappeared. And we haven't had power now for well over 12 hours. So really people in Fort Lauderdale are sort of waiting out this storm with absolutely no power. In terms of the sort of statewide position, we understand that there are around 1.5 million people. That's according to the state's power company, Florida Power. They're saying that there are around 1.5 million customers who are currently without power, and mostly in this sort of southern part of Florida, including Miami-Dade County and Broward County, where I am. So certainly a lot of people going through some pretty tough conditions on the East Coast, but really that's nothing compared to what's facing people on the West Coast, actually just across, almost a direct line across Florida on the other side of the peninsula in Marco Island. We understand the storm has now made landfall there, so people there are in for a much worse hit than we've had here in Fort Lauderdale.